said this a million times, and I'm going to say it again. Don't waste your time thinking about politics, because politics is a scam. And that's why I don't waste my time watching the news. I mean, I just found out today that apparently there was a massive hurricane that swept through America. Killed a bunch of people. People's cats and dogs are still missing. The hurricane just dragged them away. They're dead. These animals are all dead. I'm sorry. If you're a listener from the state of South Carolina, North Carolina, Florida, and your dog is still missing, and you're hopeful, maybe he'll come back. Maybe he'll make his way back home after the hurricane dragged him miles away. He's dead. Your dog is dead. Accept it. Your dog was dragged away by 90-mile-an-hour winds, dragged away from miles and miles away, and he was bashed into a pole and split in half. And his organs and intestines were just dripping all over that pole. And he lived for about 3 to 4 minutes after, and there were excruciating 4 to 5 minutes. It was 4 to 5 minutes of pure hell. Then eventually, he succumbed to his wounds, and then he passed away. He died. Scavengers came and ate all of his remains. They left nothing behind. They even took the bones. And look, I know a lot of Americans care so much about their pets. I don't get it. I don't get the whole obsession with pets. Because I talk about it all the time. You're fat and ugly and poor, and you have a dog. How does that work? You have all the time to focus on the dog, but what about yourself? And I always say a lot of these times, these animals just drag Americans down. It's a tool from the government to keep Americans down. Stupid dog. The hurricane did you a favor, honestly, for thinking about it. But again, I understand that these dogs are special to you people. I could imagine a lot of you guys were hopeful. Well, I did lose my home in the hurricane. I lost my car. I lost my job. The factory I was working in was wiped away. Maybe, just maybe, if I still have my dog that can keep me company, I'll still be happy. No, he's also dead. But then we go back to the politics. What do the politicians have to say? Because, they're the ones in charge of all this stuff. We put the politicians in office so they can fix all these problems. They're the ones that are in charge. If anything bad happens, we don't have to worry about it because the politicians will take care of it, right? I mean, at least that's what I think, because everywhere I look, I see people fighting left and right over, I'm voting for Kamala, I'm voting for Trump. Goddamn Biden ruined the country. We need Trump back in office. Even though they're both the same. And I'm going to prove it to you. One of the states that was devastated, everybody lost their houses, everybody's dogs died, was South Carolina. So naturally, they're going to bring on the news the politicians of South Carolina to see what he has to say for himself. And he goes by the name of Lindsey Graham, the homosexual. Senator Lindsey Graham, it's not officially announced that he's a homosexual, but he talks, he moves around, he has mannerisms of a gay guy, and we've never seen him with a woman. By the way, not that him being a homosexual affects him with being a leader, because we know back in Roman times, all those guys were gay. And they built one of the greatest empires that's ever existed. So they brought this homosexual on Fox News and started asking him questions. Hey, Mr. Senator, the people of South Carolina are hurting right now. The people of South Carolina are really hurting. I mean, they've been devastated by the hurricane. What are your thoughts? And listen to this.
Thank Donald Trump and Elon Musk for that. I've been going all over South Carolina like most people. I hadn't slept much. But look what's going on in Israel. Our friends in Israel are surrounded by people that want to kill them, destroy them, a second Holocaust in the making. And Biden says be proportional. What is the proportional response to people who want to kill you and your family? Gosh. They're running out of ammunition in Israel. We have to help our friends to keep the war over there from coming here.
Excuse me, sir? What the did you just say? What are you even talking about? We asked you a question about the people in South Carolina. Their dogs are dead. They were flown away by the hurricane, 80, 100-mile-an-hour winds, flown away to a different district, and they die, slam into a pole, organs all over the place. People lost their houses, people lost their jobs, people lost their cars, people are devastated. There's no more food. We asked you a question about these people, and all of a sudden you burst out, but what about the people in Israel? What about the bagels with the cream cheese? All the people in Israel suffering from celiac disease because they're Jewish. And you're talking to me about South Carolina? I don't give a darn about South Carolina. What about the Jews? We need to give Israel more bombs. Because I'll tell you what, nothing makes me more happier than seeing a guy with 2 curls running down his cheeks eating a bagel with cream cheese, celebrating after he launches a dumb bomb to a 4-year-old terrorist. Because something that we do now in Palestine, there's 4 or 5-year-old terrorists running around. So you see why I don't even waste my time with politics? You see why I only care about myself? I don't care about anybody else except for me. Because nobody else does. You're the idiot there wasting time while you're fat, ugly, and poor talking about who's the better candidate, Kamala Harris or Donald Trump, when it's both the same. Lindsey Graham doesn't give a fuck about anybody else. I mean, he's there to care about South Carolina. He doesn't give a fuck because South Carolina isn't paying him. Israel is paying him, so of course he's going to promote Israel when the topic is South Carolina and the destruction of South Carolina. And so now you start to understand, well, these people are just trying to get paid. These niggas trying to get paid just like me. And by the way, I don't blame them. Let Israel contact me and see what happens, see what this channel becomes. I'm telling you right now. If the good people in Israel, the good people who I love and adore, the Jewish people, if they contact me and tell me, listen, we want to cut you a check, we want you to talk nice about Israel. You can forget about all the talking of Cartier glasses, getting muscles, having a six-pack. From now on, it's all about bagels with cream cheese. It's about celiac disease. You're wasting your fucking time with politics. Meanwhile, you're still fat, ugly, and poor. Your situation's not getting any better. You know, a lot of you are big fans of Donald Trump because I was as well. But you need to understand, if Donald Trump wins, we're going to go to war with Iran. That means less money for America, less watches, less rollies, less nice cars. The economy is going to be even worse. More inflation, cost of living going up. Because we need to defend the good Jewish people out there in Israel for the bagels with the cream cheese. If Kamala Harris wins, it's still the same. So I want to ask you, what's the fucking difference? What changes if Kamala Harris wins or Donald Trump wins? What changes? You've seen the debate between these two idiots. Just a back and forth. But what about Israel? I'm going to do more for Israel. And then Kamala said, no, I'm going to do more for Israel. Okay, Israel, super random. Okay, fine. But what about the fat, ugly, and poor people here in America? What about them? Because we got a lot of fat, ugly, and disgusting guys that are also poor, walking around this country depressed, full of anxiety, asshole full of hemorrhoids. They have no health insurance. They can't afford a place to live. They get no house. What about them? You know, the fat guy who's ugly and poor with hemorrhoids, he voted for you, Trump. He voted for you, Kamala Harris. And he fought every day on the internet for you. Because, if you're a guy that's fat, ugly, and poor, you're also stupid. People who are fat, ugly, and poor are stupid. They can be convinced of doing anything. And so a lot of these people are thinking, if I vote for Donald Trump and he gets back into office, I'll no longer be suffering the life that I have of being fat, ugly, and poor. Things are going to get better. Meanwhile, Trump wins 4 years past, still fat, ugly, and poor. His life is still miserable. But hey, Trump got into office. What a great 4 years we had. And they got your fat ass out there fighting for people that are multi-billionaires. I mean, how retarded are you people? No, seriously. You're out there getting emotional and passionate over these politicians. You're a clown. You're a fucking clown, and that's why you get no hoes. And I see this all the time. Loser, fat, and ugly people fighting for billionaires. I saw the other day, there was this thing where the people at the ports, the workers at the ports, they went on strike because they wanted a raise. And the people that work at the ports are called the longshoremen. And these people, you get a job as a longshoreman at the ports. First year, you're going to buy yourself an AMG. I mean, that's how much money these people make crazy money. First year, 120, 150,000 at least. Everybody has an AMG. Nobody drives just a regular Mercedes. It's an AMG, and if it's a BMW, you're going to get an M. And they also have a house. They own houses with backyards, and they have a jet ski for the weekend. Every longshoreman, he's tatted up from head to toe. And these guys were asking, they were going to go on strike because they wanted more money, wanted a raise, they wanted a new contract with their union. Because the shipping containing companies, these people are making billions of dollars. They're making billions and billions of dollars. And so the guy, the president of the union, who by the way, I love this guy. Look at this fat guy. Look at the president of the Longshoremen Union. Look at this guy. By the way, follows all my advice. Rich guy gets a bunch of money, and look at his face. What's on his face? A pair of Cartier glasses, of course. And so people were saying, well, this guy's a thug because he's going to shut down the economy. He's going to shut down the economy. He's going to ruin everybody. Inflation's going to go through the roof because of this guy. Because if these guys stop working, everything stops. The whole country stops. And he's like, okay, so give me the contract. These people are making billions of dollars. Give us our cut. Because I want my guys to still be pushing around AMGs and prices are through the roof. And then you see the people in the comments on Twitter who are fat, ugly, and poor. You know, they're also very into politics. They're trying to expose this guy. You know how they're trying to expose him? They show a picture of his mansion in New Jersey. He has a massive mansion, 7,000 square foot. And he's pushing around a Bentley and has a pair of Cartier glasses on his face. And people think that's exposing. He wants everybody else to be rich. All the longshoremen I know, they're pushing around nice cars, they have iced out watches, and they have Cartier glasses as well, the real kind. Not the fake ones, and they're also wearing real Moncleses. This guy's trying to get his workers to be just like him. What's the problem? You're the fat loser wasting your time fighting for people who don't give a shit about you. This guy, this union boss, only cares about himself and his union and getting paid because he wants to still keep the Cartier glasses and driving around the Bentley and have the big mansion. And the way that he does that is by keeping his union guys happy. Because if they're happy, they'll keep voting him in every 4 years. He could keep the Cartier glasses, the Bentley, and the big mansion. Lindsey Graham, the homosexual, is supposed to be responsible for South Carolina. But of course, Israel's cutting him the check, so in the middle of getting asked about a disaster that's happening in his state, he starts spewing a whole bunch of propaganda about Israel. Nobody gives a fuck about what you got going on. These are just the facts. You're fat, you're ugly, you're poor, you're disgusting, your life is miserable, and you don't have a Benz. And that's not going to change whether Kamala Harris or Donald Trump is in office. The only time I think about Kamala Harris is when I'm beating my beef, because I feel like she has good pussy. That's as far as I go when it comes to politics. I wake up in the morning, I drink 2 glasses of water, I stare right into the sun, I meditate, then I go off into the gym. I come back, I make a YouTube video, I cook my steaks, I eat my steaks and eggs. And then I spend the rest of the day just staring off into the clouds thinking about fat women, how I can make my first million.